Cinderella.
Once there was a kind girl named Cinderella. She lived with her stepmother and 2 stepsisters. They made her clean the house every day. Still, Cinderella stayed gentle and hopeful inside. One day, a royal messenger came to town. He told everyone about a great palace ball. That night, the stepsisters talked excitedly. The first stepsister said proudly, "I will be the most beautiful at the ball." The second stepsister said with a big smile, "The prince will surely notice me first." Cinderella brushed their dresses with a soft smile. Then Cinderella asked in a small, careful voice, "May I go to the ball too?" The stepmother looked at her with cold eyes. The stepmother answered in a harsh, hard voice, "No, you must stay here and work." That evening, the family rode away to the palace. Cinderella sat alone by the quiet kitchen fire. Tears fell as she whispered to herself. Cinderella said sadly to the empty room, "I wish I could dance at the ball." Suddenly, warm light filled the dark kitchen. A kind fairy godmother appeared with a gentle smile. The fairy godmother spoke in a bright, caring voice. "Why are you crying, dear Cinderella?" Cinderella wiped her eyes and answered softly. Cinderella said, with a small, hopeful sigh, "I want to go, but I have nothing nice." The fairy godmother nodded and raised her wand. The fairy godmother said in a loving, steady voice, "Dry your tears, I will help you." In a flash, a pumpkin turned into a gold carriage. Little mice became strong horses with shining coats. Cinderella's old dress changed into a blue gown. Glass slippers sparkled on her small, gentle feet. The fairy godmother spoke in a serious, kind voice. "Remember, you must leave before midnight." Cinderella nodded quickly and smiled with bright joy. Soon, the carriage stopped at the bright palace. People stared as Cinderella walked into the hall. The prince saw her and felt his heart jump. The prince spoke gently to the shining stranger. "May I have this dance with you?" Cinderella smiled and took his warm, waiting hand. They danced and laughed under the soft, golden lights. Suddenly, the big clock began to strike 12. Cinderella gasped and felt a rush of fear. Cinderella said quickly, her voice full of worry, "I am sorry, I must go now." She ran down the stairs as fast as she could. One glass slipper slipped off on the last step. The prince picked it up and held it tight. The next day, the prince searched every house. He wanted to find the girl from the ball. At Cinderella's house, the stepsisters tried the slipper. The first stepsister said with great noisy effort, "See? It almost fits my foot." But the slipper was still far too small. The second stepsister cried out in frustration, "This shoe is much too tight for me." Then Cinderella stepped forward with a shy smile. Cinderella asked softly, eyes full of gentle hope, "May I try the slipper, please?" The stepmother shook her head in disbelief. The stepmother whispered in a low, angry voice, "She is only a servant in this house." But the prince's helper offered the slipper kindly. Cinderella gently slid her foot into the glass shoe. It fit her perfectly, smooth and light. The prince smiled with great joy and relief. The prince said, with a warm, happy voice, "You are the girl I danced with." Cinderella felt her heart shine like bright light. Cinderella said softly, almost in a tiny whisper, "I was afraid, but I never forgot you." Soon, Cinderella went to live at the palace. She and the prince shared many kind, bright days. She always remembered the fairy godmother's gentle help. Kindness and courage filled her heart every day. So Cinderella lived a happy life full of love,